welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, thank you so much for checking me out. Today, I wanted to go over 7 chords and a little bit of some 9 chords. So if you're getting into jazz band, or you're just new to the world of jazz and possibly blues, you're gonna see a lot of these chords. So let's get into it. Okay, so like I was saying in the intro, today I wanted to introduce you to some 7 chords and some 9 chords. So if you're new to jazz, blues, you're starting to see these come up. What are all these letters? What are all these numbers? I'm gonna break it down for you. So first off, let's show you what we're doing here today. So okay, so you'll hear this thing a lot in a blues context, jazz, funk kind of situation. I come from a very funky world, so that's the way I'm going to apply it today. I think this is the funnest, and honestly, this is the place where you can just use one chord and just go to town. So today I'm going to pick the chord D. Start with D7 here. So we have the note D, we have the note F sharp, we have the note C. If you don't know your notes on your fretboard, I highly recommend learning that. I have another video all about that I will put boom here. But if you don't know it, just think of this triangle here. 5th fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. So the magic note here is right here at our 5th fret G string. Our C note makes this the 7 of our D. So a way you can figure this out, or even think about it, if D is the root of the chord, it's called D something. Your minor 7, which is what we refer to as 7 when we say D7, is our minor 7. It's just going to be a whole step behind it. So if this is D, one letter behind D is C. So we find this note C above our root. That was the minor scale, but works all the same with the major scale. You're always going to find that 7, and then you need to flat it. Okay, that's getting confusing out the gate. Root, major 3rd, 7. So this together sounds like this. So I'm sure you've heard this kind of thing, especially if you're just coming in here from the world of blues. That's going to be your 5 chord, your turnaround. There it is. That's your D7. I was omitting this B string note. Just going for this simpler shape here. But if you wanted to do the one with more notes in it, that's just adding another root on top there. But normally in a funk kind of jazz context, maybe just these 3 notes is enough, and that'll get you there. So enough of my blabbering. Let's hear this in context here. What can we do? I'm going to use a little funky rhythm, which is just a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Okay, so hopefully you can hear my loop going now. So another way to do this, or another shape you could possibly see, is I'm going to move here to G. So now our low E string root. So I'm at the 3rd fret here, our G note. So if you know your standard bar chord shape, which looks like your E open position chord, as if it was moved up, and then your index finger takes the place of the nut here, or a capo. So the construction of this chord is root, 5th, root, 3rd, 5th, root. So we have some doubled notes or some repeated notes. We have a root here, and we have a root here on our D string. So like I was saying before, if you want a minor 7, go 2 frets back. So if we now inject that into our chord, instead of this note that my pinky's holding, if I let go of my pinky, I'm now getting the note my index finger is holding, which is 2 frets down. And there it is. There's my minor 7 note, which makes this a G7 chord. So I know bar chords are very difficult, especially when you're starting off. And honestly, this isn't even how I see a lot of people playing it. So a more sophisticated, and honestly the easier way to do this, is index finger, we're going to skip the A string, 3rd fret on our D string, and then with our ring finger, we're going to grab the 4th fret, our 3rd on the G string. And then we're going to, with our index finger, or maybe our middle finger, we're going to just touch the A string and just mute it out, so it's not making an audible note. So when we hit the top 4 strings now, what do you know? That's your 7 chord. So this is known as a shell chord. More terminology, maybe you've heard this before, but if not, this is what it is. This is a shell chord. It's just basically the minimum amount of notes to get across the sound you're trying to make. So we have a root, that's basically what our bass note is. We have our 3rd over here on the G string, which gives us our quality. Is it major? Is it minor? And then this 7 here, this minor 7, kind of tells us what shade our color is. So we're in blues, jazz, funk, groove realm. That's what I hear when I hear this kind of thing. Okay, so that's just your standard 7 chord. So off the A string here, quick review. Kind of have this triangle kind of looking shape. Hopefully you can see that okay. And then off the A string, off the E string here, you can either do a bar chord shape and remove the pinky, or you can do the little kind of shell here, where we mute out the A string with our fingers like thusly. And the thing I like about this shape, without sticking on it too long, is you can start to add fingers and get even more sophisticated. But we're not quite there yet, okay? So moving on to our next idea, our next 7 chord. So that's just a 7 chord. So to go back to our G7 here, if it was G minor 7, well, all we would have to do is remove our middle finger. So now our chord is basically barred all the way down, at this case the 3rd fret, because we're playing G, and then we're just grabbing our 5th right here at the 5th fret A string. Everything else is barred. But on our D string here, that's our minor 7 again. So this is G minor 7, okay? And then to go back to our D example, so this was D7. This is a major 3rd here. So if we wanted to make this minor, we'd have to drop this note down 1 fret, like that. One of my most loved chords right here. So this is now D minor 7. Or maybe you can switch it around like that. Whatever fingers you use, it's really up to you. It kind of depends on what you're going for. This position kind of allows the middle finger to grab some bass notes, whereas this fingering here allows more for the pinky to grab some more notes. Okay, so quick review. And just like our bar chord here, this would be a G minor bar chord. Once again, our pinky is on our octave, so repeated G note. So we take this pinky off, Now make this G note an F note, which is the 7 of our key here. So G minor 7 bar chord. And then refresh for this, D, F, C, or 5th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, starting at the A string. There's our D minor 7. Okay, so on to the next type of 7 chord here, and then we'll jump into 9s. It's a lot easier to understand the 9s if you have a base, fundamental foundation of 7 chords, I believe. Our next type of 7 chord here would be a major 7 chord, which I've associated this chord with like lounge music, maybe like Christmas songs. But honestly, this is a very practical, useful chord all over the place, but that's just my own association. Write down in the comments below if any of these chords remind you of something in particular, something specific to you. I'd be interested to know what you people think. I'm gonna move it to C now. So this is like our C major shape, C major chord, which is basically just an A chord shape, moved up with the bass note. Okay, so the construction of this chord here is our root, our 5th, there's our octave again, and then our 3rd, which is major in this case. So if you've been paying attention at home, you would know we're going to take our repeated note, our octave, and we're going to move that down 1 fret. So now when we're doing this bar chord, we're doing this major chord, we're going to move down this note right here. So it's going to look like this. So we kind of have that triangle thing we had for D7, just move down. And because of the tuning of the B string and everything, it's a major thing as opposed to a minor 7 thing. If all this theory mumbo jumbo is tripping you up, don't worry about it. I say this stuff just to familiarize you. If you don't understand it completely, that's fine. Please watch my older videos and anything upcoming. Maybe this would also be a good time to shout out. Please hit subscribe down below. I do see most of the viewers of these videos are not subscribed. And if you do enjoy my content, please subscribe. It'll help you stay in the loop and know when I drop new videos. And I greatly appreciate it. But anyway, so what we have now is a C major 7. So C major 7. The thing with this whole 7 naming thing does make it confusing. So if you're watching this video because you were confused about 7 chords and all these names, it's understandable. It's weird. But so we have a major 7 here, just as if we were following just the major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, ti. So T in do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Well, some weird accent coming out there. That's your major 7. So we're just adding that note into our C major chord. So that is your C major 7 chord. Or another way to do this chord is off our low E string root. So I'm up here at the 8th fret. I'm up here at the 8th fret, my C chord, my C shape. So I'm kind of think about this triad here. Maybe if you know your bar chord like that. I'm at the 8th fret, so this is C. But I'm just gonna think about the top here. So I'm barring right here at the 8th fret. So once again, this kind of chord, this is a C note, and over here on the high E string, that's a C note. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna flatten the higher one, which will make this chord now look like this. So I just changed the note on the high E string. I went down half a fret. I went down 1 fret, I should say. It went down half a step. And then if you have the thumb for it, or you have a bass player buddy that can hit that note, then you have a C major 7. So I like to call this the staircase chord for obvious reasons. Kind of just looks like a staircase. And I love this chord. So the way to find this is just think, okay, I need C major 7. So find a C on your high E string, build your bar chord. So in this case, it's major. So this note right here makes it major. And then I just need to get this note in there. So let's bring in my other fingers, just kind of shift everything down, and then put my pinky where my ring finger formerly was. So our main C major triad is just right here. C, E, and G. And then we're adding this B note, which is right behind our root. So if our root is C, it's also our octave, which is 8. So what's behind 8? 7. So, like I said, we have a C major triad. So this is the notes of C, C, E, and G. Just like you would have here in your cowboy chord open position. And then we're just taking what note is on the high E string. So that's our root. That's our major 7. That's our minor 7. Kind of see how this is starting to work? They're all kind of just next to each other. The minor 7 and the major 7. And it's either a major chord attached to it, or it's a minor chord attached to it. Okay, so enough of these wild 7 chords. Let's get into some 9. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to our D7 example here. 5th fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. And now with this pinky, I'm gonna add the 5th fret B string, which is an E note. So our root is D, and I'm adding an E note a whole octave above. And that's the sound of 9. So before, when you're in between a root and your octave, or a 1 and an 8, you're within the normal major scale. But once you start going beyond it, you're in what's called extensions. So once we start getting past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, of course the whole pattern starts over, and you could think of it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? However, you can also think of it as an extension of your chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we get 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's not really totally like that. Really only 9, 11, and 13 are your extensions. So, but if you were to continue counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Like, no, you wouldn't do that. It would just be 1, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9. There's your 3rd again. 9, 11, so there's your 11. There's your 5th again. There's your 13. There's your 7 again. And there's your root. So we're just going to focus on the 9. Except for we're in D. So we're just going to add this E note onto our D chord. So what is our second? 1, 2. When it's past our octave, it goes 8, 9. So usually with 9 chords, and I don't know if this is always the case, usually how I see it in my experience, is you still have the 7 attached. So root, 3rd, 7, 9. I feel like having the 7 in there kind of opens the door to allow in these extensions. So let's hear that in action a little bit. So you could just take your pentatonic here. This is your root, so your 9 is a half step above it. Or sorry, is a whole step above it. So this is D, this is E. So pentatonic. Put that 9 in there for your solos. Bend up to your 3rd, back down to your 9. We can kind of do a major minor mix here. It's a blues, it's a jazz, you know, you're allowed to kind of dabble with major and minor. So mostly I was focusing on minor pentatonic, but you can add those little major tonalities. But the main thing to focus on is this 9. So when I'm thinking D minor, I'm thinking 10-10-10 bar chord on the bottom. If I want to get D minor 7, I can go D string down, all 10th fret. And if you got the thumb, you can get that bass note, but not necessary. You can actually even get your ring finger in there and grab your bass note there. Okay, but what we came for, get this pinky in there, right there on your 10th fret high E string. Maybe you hear that 311 song. I'm alone with you. I think it's that chord. No, whatever. But anyway, so you have a minor kind of triad situation here, and then you're adding your 9 on top. Or the way I like to do this a lot, it's like this. And hammer on that 9. And to give you a little example of that, it could sound really cool, do a little something like this. So I'm doing this D minor 9 situation, and then up to A minor 9, just like my 5. So I'm going 1, 5 with a little sharp situation. So my A minor 7 with a 9 A is 8, B is 9. So I need to find is a B note when it goes to A minor. D9, A minor, 9. Okay, so just a little inspirato there, just to get you going, but all you lo-fi jazz people, I mean, I think that's your chord. That's your chord right there. Just add a little tape saturation, you're off to the races. Okay, so I'll touch on one more quick 9 chord here, and then we're gonna move away from it. So this D9, that's our major second. So we could have a minor 9. So this is D major 7 minor 9, or D7 minor 9. This is a D7 minor 9. Maybe not like a chord you would kind of strum like in the funky situation. I mean, not that you can't, but that minor 9 against that major third kind of rubs weird. But just with any situation, if this is your major 9, which is also your major second, do, re, mi. So this is your major second. Then if you go 1 half step down, that's your minor second, or your minor 9, because we're past the octave. So this is a good tension chord, I feel. But you know, don't be scared to use this guy. Very functional in its own way. You will come across this, I assure you that. Okay, so I think that's enough for the 7s and the 9s. We got a little bit further into the 11s and 13s, just a little bit. I hope this wasn't too overwhelming. I was just trying to give you a introduction to 7 and 9 chords and a few ways to use them in your own practice. I hope this helps you when you're looking at your charts so you don't feel overwhelmed. These are just standard triad chords with one added color tone. Not a big deal there. You're doing great. You're looking at videos like this, trying to learn more. So you're off to the right step. You have your mind in the right place. So I commend you for that. And I think we've had enough for today. You've been wonderful. I've been Eli. Thank you again for checking us out, and we'll send it over to the outro. Thank you again. Thank you so much for watching the video today. If you did find it educational, informative, or entertaining at any point, I do highly encourage you to hit subscribe, maybe press like, push it out to more people so YouTube knows people are enjoying the content. So once again, I appreciate you checking us out today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you again.